AM 590, KXSP Omaha's ESPN Radio. It's time for the Metro's only racing talk show. The Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Now, here's Dan Taylor and Buddy Ray.
Good morning, race fans, and welcome to the Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs, online at joeskarting.com. That is karting with a K. You get to Joe's today. It is fast-paced white-knuckle racing. It's an absolutely beautiful time, and the weather is turning. And I got to, you never really. Let me start again. I've already had our first error of the day. I'm so excited to get back to Joe's for summertime racing. How's everything going down there for you guys, getting ready for spring?
Oh, we're staying pretty busy. A lot of groups coming in. To tell you what, March is always a good year or a good month for us. A lot of people getting tax money back. It's that time of the year. A lot of corporate stuff. Come on down, see me, and I'll make sure you got a good old time down there.
And that's something we don't really talk about enough is corporate outings.
Tons of them.
I've talked to my company about it. You've had ConAgra. You've had, you could list the numbers of companies that come down there.
I've had Union Pacific. I've actually even had Burlington Northern, Union Pacific, ConAgra, MetLife, Harrah's, Ameristar.
It could be anything from team building to just going out and blowing off some steam and having a little bit of fun.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Talk to Buddy. You can go to joeskarting.com, karting with a K, and you can get Buddy's information off of there, or you can just email him, buddyj@joeskarting.com. And it's really simple. And the great thing of all is that I had some people mention it to me, said, well, we'd like to go down there, but then we have to leave and go somewhere else for food. And I go, you haven't obviously looked into it, because they take care of you guys with all the local restaurants.
Oh, absolutely. We just we did Google the other day. 35 guys. We did Google. They had 35 guys in their outing.
It sounded like you were saying something else.
Oh.
Like you were just learning about Google.
No. Yeah, this company called Google. Some company by the name of Google came in. Never heard of them. They came in and they had Quaker Steak and Lube. Great choice for food. And they catered over there. They had a good old time.
Well, listen, talking about a good old time, we have a good old time lined up for you today. Turn one, we're going to break down the results from Las Vegas, and I've got some interesting information that I want to ponder and kind of discuss with you later on in the show. The TV ratings for the NASCAR races, I am perplexed. We'll talk about them later on in the show. We'll also talk about the point standings in Turn 1 as far as they go so far. We're 3 races in, walking into race number 4. We're just kind of get you updated on where everyone's sitting. It's early, but we'll get you updated. Turn 2, we're going to talk to Shayle Bade, driver of the 03 Race Saver 305 sprint car out of Eagle Raceway, and now going to be out of several different places now, right?
A couple.
Yeah, so we'll be talking to Shayle all show long. She's going to kind of co-host with us, but we'll get in depth with Shayle in Turn 2. Turn 3, like I talked about, we're going to talk about the ratings. We're going to talk about some of the NASCAR news. Let's see, Dylan Kwasniewski getting a big deal with Chip Ganassi Racing with Felix Salas.
I want to hear you pronounce that name again.
It's Dylan Kwasniewski.
Kwasniewski?
But there's a K at the beginning of it.
Kwasniewski.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how you say it.
Okay.
I probably got it wrong.
Because you're horrible with names. I just wanted to hear you say that.
Well, the only reason why I can get it right is because I heard the TV announcer say it first. Turn 4, we'll talk about the Pick'ems contest.
Yeah, the heck with that contest.
Got some tips for you and some more information.
Don't pick what I'm picking.
That's rule number 1. So we got a good show lined up for you today. And I want to say thank you to Shayle for taking the time out of her day for joining us. Been a while since you've been in studio.
Yes, it has. I kind of missed you guys.
Oh, we've missed you.
Yeah, we've missed you too.
We always love having you in studio. You make it a lot of fun. So let's get going from the very start. Did you happen to get to see the race this weekend, Las Vegas?
I did not.
I was in Washington, D.C.
Horrible Sunday.
I was walking around our nation's capital, so I didn't get to see it. But luckily, I was able to kind of catch some recaps of it all.
I listened to it on the radio in the race shop when we were working on the mods. I tell you what, it was an exciting race to listen to. It was really good, and the last 10 laps was so drama-filled. I mean, not in a bad way, but, I mean, my God, Keselowski to come out with the win over Earnhardt, who runs out of fuel right at the very end.
Coming out of Turn 2, it sputters on him.
I was just like, wow. I actually rolled out from underneath the car. I was like, Earnhardt's going to win again. Earnhardt just lost. I was like, wow.
This is getting good. I mean, it's, I've been critical of Earnhardt, but I'm telling you, we're seeing a completely different 88.
Is the new grid format got a lot to do with it?
I don't think that has anything to do. I think it just has to do with him and Letarte are gelling. You saw it at the end of last year. They're working really well together. He got himself a win by dominating at Daytona, and it just pulled all of the pressure off of him.
Yeah, but like the announcers were saying on the radio this weekend, it seems like the drivers are driving harder and faster. They're having to drive smarter, but they're driving harder, and we saw that, just based off of the end of the race.
Well, it's like these guys that are within shot. We talked about it. These guys that have the shot, could be top 3, could be top 5 in the running order, that have the shot with the last few laps. Those are the guys that are really going to start pushing. I mean, really putting it in places that they probably shouldn't, to get that win. That's what's making it exciting. But then again, what we're going to talk about in turn 3, the TV ratings aren't reflecting it, and it's rather confusing. But we'll get to all of that. Your top 5 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway: Brad Keselowski, Dale Jr., Paul Menard, Joey Logano, and Carl Edwards. Again, that's your top 5. Jimmy Johnson, Ryan Newman, Casey Kane, Jeff Gordon, and Matt Kenseth round out your top 10. I'm not bringing this up just to kind of poke fun at you or anything. I really did want to bring this up, but once again, Stewart-Haas Racing struggling.
Oh, God.
They have been, and this isn't just 2014. They struggled in 2013 also, and we continue to see them. I don't want to be overly critical, but I mean they're not a top 20 team.
No, they're struggling.
I mean, Harvick had a great car, but an equipment failure knocked him out of the race, and that ended any silver lining to anything.
Well, the announcers on the radio when I was listening, they were saying, no disrespect, but Danica's their top driver right now.
And that's you're absolutely right. She's in year number 2 of a contract, and she's growing. She's learning, But
to be fair, it is the beginning of the season, too. We got a lot of racing left.
Right. And Tony had this in 2011. He struggled at the beginning of the season, but he was able to put it together at the end of the season and do it when it counts. And the thing is, all they have to do, all these 4 drivers have to do, they just got to win one race, and all 4 of them are in the chase.
Work together.
That's all they got to do. They got to find one race where they can all benefit. Harvick's already in. We know that. So Kurt Busch and Tony Stewart, they're no slouches. These guys can get in the opportunity, like today at Bristol, where they could have an opportunity to maybe move somebody out of the way.
But if you remember last year at Bristol, who was it was either last year or 2012, the shocker that raised a lot of eyebrows was Danica herself. She popped off with a top 10 finish there. She may not be a bad pick for that Pick'ems contest.
Let's see where she finished. Is this Bristol? Nope. Looking at the results from last year. Well, it wasn't a top 10. Sorry to break it to you.
Sounded good. See, this is the part that we can edit.
You know what I'm thinking is that you're right on that. I believe she did have a really good run going, and she was holding her own, but she got into an accident late, and she ended up 5 laps down.
That could be.
That could have been one of the times she ran into the 17 car. She seems to have a problem running into that guy.
Well.
But that's where, it just, they got to get something figured out. And I think this was what Tony was kind of frustrated with Gene Haas bringing on Kurt Busch. It was a good move to bring Kurt in, but the organization wasn't ready. They struggled going to a 3-car team. And all of a sudden, in 1 year, they've gone to a 4-car team. And that's just, you've got to hire more people in. And not just hire more people in, you got to hire the right people in. You got to go through the process. You got to upscale the building process, build a whole new set of cars. It's a whole different level of expansion that going from 2 cars to 3 cars is one thing. But trying to go to 4 cars, that's ridiculously difficult. It's an incredibly difficult thing to do, and you're seeing it with the way they struggle. By the way, Stewart-Haas Racing finished. Tony was 33rd. I believe Kevin Harvick was 41st. I didn't mean to bring up him first. Kurt Busch was 26th, and Danica was 21st. So not even in the top 20, any of those cars.
You really think so? As if I didn't know that.
I was pointing it out to the listeners.
Yeah.
In case you haven't noticed, Buddy took the 14 against my recommendations, mind you. Against my recommendations, you took the 14. But we'll talk about that more in turn 4. You'll have plenty of jabs. You can, if you want to go ahead and poke fun at him too. Get him in there, Shayle.
Hopefully Shayle doesn't know what we're talking about.
I think I have a pretty good idea what you're talking about.
Dale Jr. continues to lead the NASCAR point series. Brad Keselowski just 1 point behind him. Jimmy Johnson lurking in third place. Joey Logano, Jeff Gordon round out the top 5. Edwards, Kenseth, Hamlin, Newman, and Kyle Busch all round out the top 10. So again, Dale Earnhardt, Brad Keselowski, and Kevin Harvick are all in the chase already. They've got themselves the win. It just kind of comes down to how many wins are these guys going to be able to get and start knocking people out?
And I never thought about this, but right before they went to Green Flag Racing at Phoenix, the announcers on the radio were talking, if you've already got a win, the best thing you can do is to keep winning and keep trying to win races, to keep some of your competitors out of that grid format.
Yep.
And so I'm thinking that's why we're seeing, nothing against Dale, but Dale's having a great year so far. Mm-hmm. We're only 3 races in, but, he's running hard. I do agree with you. I think him and Steve Letarte are gelling pretty good, but with this new grid format, I think there's a lot of mentalities that have changed with their driving styles.
Exactly. And by the way, just history would show that right around Auto Club, which is next weekend's race, and Martinsville, which is the following weekend's race, that's when we have our first multiple winner in the year. Typically, it comes about race 5 or 6. So we'll see what happens. Typically, today at Bristol, we still have another first-time winner of the year, and we'll go from there. So anything else you want to talk about? Anything you saw at the race or heard of the races on Sunday?
No, other than it was just a fun race. I didn't get to see it on TV, but to listen to it on the radio from the start to finish, it was a good race to listen to. I said we were going to talk about it in Turn 3, but we might as well talk about it right now in Turn 1. We got time left, and we'll save some time for Turn 3 for doing some other things. We got a lot of things we could talk about. Dirt season is just around the corner. You've got your auto show coming up in a couple of weeks. So I wanted to talk about the NASCAR ratings so far. And Daytona is a very difficult one to compare to, because with the rain delay, it pushed the end of the Daytona 500 into the closing ceremonies for the Winter Olympics, which reflected the same thing that happened in 2010, and there was about a 32% viewership drop this year to 2010, and that's a huge number of viewers, obviously 32%. Phoenix saw a 5% decline in ratings, and Vegas saw an 11% decline in ratings. Anything you can see, and Shayle, again, feel free to chime in, anything you guys can see that would say this, I think this is the reason why people aren't coming around. Well, for me, in my opinion, right, wrong, or indifferent, we've talked about the last couple of weeks, some of the graphics that Fox has done, their display of the races. How many times have you and I talked about, right? You'll see somebody in second place getting ready to overtake the leader, and what do? Oh, let's go to a beer commercial.
Yeah.
Oh, we're like, we don't care about the beer.
It's less beer. It's more Cialis and Viagra now, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah. So, we're going to go to a commercial break, and then they'll come back and be like, what you missed during the commercial break was, Dale Jr. overtook Matt Kenseth. They're like, well, great. We wanted to see that. We wanted to see that. We don't want to watch another Mark Martin Vialis or Cialis commercial or whatever. So,
by the way, fans, while we were away at commercial, Peyton Manning threw his 47th touchdown to Wes Welker, and then they kicked a field goal. Here's the kickoff.
Right.
Who cares? Let's see it live.
We want to see, now if we're in the middle of a 50-lap green run, there's not a lot of, it is what it is. But Fox has, like you and I, and you've actually brought it up more than I have, but Fox has this weird thing about, right in the pivotal moment of something happening, commercial.
And you'll see it today.
That's going to turn people off. It's going to turn people off. Why in the heck are you going to want to watch the race on TV when you know it's going to happen? When you're all, the coverage on the radio to me is almost better than it is on TV. You don't get the visual, but you got 4 announcers at each end of the track in the 4 corners, and they're always talking. And I love listening to the radio. I hate saying that.
No, say it. We're on the radio. Say it. Say it all you want to.
Yeah. Well, no, I like listening to the race on the radio better because you don't have the constant commercials. They have some commercials and stuff, but the TV coverage has got to have some work done to it. The other thing, now this is just me personally, quite honestly, it's the first 65, actually it's about 75 where my race shop is. Mm-hmm. So that day, do you think I'm going to be sitting inside for the first 75-degree day of the year, or am I going to be out in my race shop working on my race car? I'm working on my race car.
This is national ratings, but it was pretty nice on Sunday. But I mean, still, it was nice March last year. and it was year over year, 11% drop. You're saying exactly what I was thinking. I don't want to chastise Fox just quite yet and say it's all their fault, but in any other scenario, with Dale Earnhardt winning the Daytona 500 and finishing second in consecutive weeks and having good runs, not getting lucky in finishing second, I'm saying he's dominant. The Earnhardt fans will be turning out and watching this. The racing is better. It's much more competitive up front, and we had some good racing last year. I don't want to talk about its exceptional hands over, just incredible racing, better than last year, but I think it's better racing this year than we had last year. It's building on what they'd done last year. I see everything else getting better except for Fox's broadcast. And you're absolutely right. The MRN, PRN radio announcement, they have to be better at it because you don't have that visual aspect. Like on TV, honestly, they could not say anything and you could understand what was going on because the cameras would watch and follow it. And they do what they have to do. They throw in the commentary every once in a while and tell you how things are working out. But they get to talk a lot less than the guys on the radio. But that's what makes radio so much better, is that when you listen to it on the radio,
you hear every detail.
It sounds so exciting. I mean, they're breaking down 5 different actions that's going on that you could be seeing on TV, but you're engaged because you're like, holy cow.
You know what's fun to listen to? You know why it's fun to listen to on the radio, in my opinion? I just thought of this. Because when they're talking, you can tell that they're having to talk in a raised voice over the sounds of the cars. But every time they're talking, you hear those engines running. You watch it on TV on Fox, and a lot of times they'll have that, the 3 guys down here on the bottom left corner and the upper right-hand corner, they got the cars going around the track. You don't hear the engines of those cars coming by. But when you listen to it on the radio, you get sensory overload, audibly because you hear all that.
Yeah.
With me, I think the TV is good, but with the bad coverage, I say it's good and bad, but for the most part, it's good. But the 1% that's bad that kills it for me is just when they cut away to a commercial. That does it. When you do that over and over and over again, you know what? I'll just turn on the radio and I'll listen to it there.
And
there's your ratings drop.
And I want to bring up the point that ESPN saw a big growth in their ratings at the end of last year over 2012's ratings when they had the coverage. So ESPN saw an increase, and I saw ESPN do that once or twice where they cut away when there was a lead change coming, and you could feel it coming, but they cut away for some reason. I don't understand. I don't know. Maybe I can talk to KMTV and one of our partners over here and get their idea of it so we can understand it a little bit better, but it happens way too often with Fox, and I think it's a little too soon for me to call it, but I honestly think people are getting sick and tired of it.
I would.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. I can't believe it. I mean, it's frustrating as heck.
That would be like watching a Nebraska Cornhusker game. It's
and then right before touchdown.
Fourth quarter.
Right before the Hail Mary.
Yeah, right before the Hail Mary. Oh, commercial.
Yeah. You'd have a lot of mad viewers.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Fox does. They get grief all the time. And I like to defend my broadcast friends, but I can't defend Fox in this case. I've obviously been, I mean, if you've listened to the show before, you've heard me rail on them. And it was this time last year at Martinsville, I got honest, heard them say, you can watch him coming. So-and-so second place is coming. 3/10 every lap. 3/10 every lap. Here he comes. He's a-coming. He is 2/10 away. We'll be back.
Hey, I'm Mark Martin, and I'm selling Viagra.
He's coming, and I got myself. I'm like, I started screaming in my living. I'm like, are you kidding me? And we came back, and sure enough, second place had taken the lead, and they showed the replay.
It's already over.
Anyways, we'll come back in turn 2. We're going to talk to that lovely voice of Shayle Bade, driver of the 03 Race Saver 305 Sprint car, when we get back here on the front stretch.
This is Andrew from Kaziski Auto Parts. Kaziski Auto Parts is an insurance-quality used parts supplier that can match your foreign or domestic car or truck needs. If you have a damaged or broke down car or truck, we guarantee a clean and quality part in next day fashion. Kaziski Auto Parts, your neighborhood premium recycled parts supplier. Call any Kaziski Auto Parts salesman today by dialing 402-731-4592 or visit us at 5040 I Street in Omaha. Kaziski Auto Parts, our quality used parts will match your car or truck's needs.
Are you ready for fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping, wheel-to-wheel racing right here in the Metro? Get to Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs and see what it's like to race real go-karts. Joe's Karting knows it's no fun to race go-karts at 10 miles per hour, so they ripped the governors out, and now the only restriction is how good you are at racing. It's full-throttle, white-knuckle racing every day of the week. Head over to joeskarting.com for hours, prices, and specials, or give Buddy a call today and set up your group races at 712-256-5278.
We're working the High Line into Turn 2 on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting. Online at joeskarting.com.
Heading into turn number 2, brought to you by Kaziski Auto Parts at 51st and I Street, KaziskiAutoParts.com.
You always say we're heading into turn 2.
Yeah.
I've actually had some listeners.
We're heading into turn 2.
I've actually had listeners out on the street before we do the show that have always asked me, when you guys go into turn 2, are you going to the bottom side of turn 2 or are you going to the high side of turn 2?
It's for them to decide.
For them to decide.
I like the high side.
Decide. You can take the low side. I like the high side.
Oh, I'm just happy to be on the track, really.
Well, you ain't very fast.
I'm happy to make it.
Joe's.
I've made it to turn 2. I'm just pretty proud of myself at this point in time.
Yeah.
KaziskiAutoParts.com. If you've been in any of the accidents because of the bad weather we had over this summer, this winter, and it's now summertime, time to get that car fixed up and repaired, head to Kaziski Auto Parts. Talk to Andrew and any one of the technicians up at the front desk, and tell them what kind of car number you have, make, model, year, all that kind of stuff. They'll even pull your VIN number to make sure you get the absolute correct part, and they can replace just about anything. Do you need a brake caliper? Do you need a U-ball joint? Do you need a U-joint? Do you need a drive shaft? Do you need a whatever you need?
A fender, a door, a
sheet
seat.
metal. Yeah, that sheet metal is incredibly expensive, but
the little hook that attaches to the dash that nobody knows what it's there for.
Yeah.
They can get that.
They can get that for you because it's all out there in their salvage yard. Kaziski Auto Parts, 51st and I Street. And I also want to remind you guys, I-80 Speedway, we're just 2 weeks away. No, less than 2 weeks away, aren't we? April 5th and 6th.
5th and 6th.
Is the spring meltdown. So it's getting here pretty quickly. And we're talking with driver of the 03 U.S. Army?
Yes.
U.S. Army Sprint Car Race Saver 305, Shayle Bade. How you been doing?
Not too bad. I'm waiting for race season. Only 35 days to go.
You know, I see your post on Facebook, and it's like every day. It's like you're literally counting down day by day. Every day. I don't see a lot of drivers doing that. You know, you look at some point in time, you know, Shaylee's like, it's 39 days to race day. And
Almost
I think
there.
we're up to, 21 days to race day by your count?
Yep.
I mean, I've never seen so much excitement out of one dirt driver to go race. I was like, good Lord. I'm sitting here going, I wish I had another 2 weeks to get my cars done. And she's sitting here going, oh, okay, Shayle, you reminded me.
Away.
Yeah.
How is the car coming along? Did you make many changes to it after 2013?
Yes and no. This year we are actually going to have 2 complete cars that will be at the track this year. They will both be identical. The only thing that is different is their chassis. Mm-hmm. Other than that, we have 2 identical cars and they are done. So everything should be looking pretty good.
How many times have you gone back over it just to waste a night?
Oh, you have no idea. I'm like Daddy at the shop. Let's go. Call my pit crew guys. Go work on cars.
When's your first race? Do you have any idea yet?
April 18th, Icebreaker.
You're not going to come to the April 5th at Crawford County?
I heard that wasn't a race. I heard it was only practice at Denison.
No, that's a race.
No,
it is a race?
That's for national points and everything.
Yeah. It's just a 305 Deary Brothers so far. They're trying to add some other classes, but they're having trouble.
We will be at that. I did not know it was a race, but that will be actually my first race then.
Good. All right.
So
April
35
So we
days.
can go on the front stretch and we can announce Shayle Bade will be at Denison at Crawford County Speedway.
That's right. I'll be there.
You know,
We just did.
Well, there
We
you
just
go.
did.
We just did.
Can I be your co-host that night in the announcer's booth?
I already talked to somebody about this. I can't because we don't have a window. You can't hear what the other person is saying.
Oh.
So it's pretty useless to try to do that. So until I get a window and an air conditioner and an elevator,
Then you can come up.
yeah. I'm striking on that elevator this year. I'm about tired of making that walk.
Oh, that's a brutal walk. I lost
never
30
been
pounds
there.
last year.
Oh, it was tough. It's tough.
That track, you're going to have a blast driving that track. That is a fun track.
It's a fun little track, and the sprint cars, the Nebraska 360s put on a hell of a show last year. So you guys got a level you got to get to.
Is it flat or banked?
It's banked.
It's
Banked?
not like Eagle.
No,
It's not even as banked. It's about a half as banked as I-80.
yep, but it's smaller than I-80, so
Yeah.
it'll be it's a
It's going to have I-80 speed with an Eagle Raceway feel.
All right, we can do that.
Be prepared. You'll have some fun.
Yeah.
It's a good little track. And like I said, it's just going to be the 305s that first night and the Deary Brothers late models. But hopefully over the next couple of weeks, they'll be able to add some more classes in there just to get some more buck for people's bangs. Okay, year one done in the sprint cars.
Yes.
How do you feel?
Our first year was absolutely awesome, and I cannot wait to go into 2014. This will be probably our year to beat ourselves.
You think so?
This will be, we have made a lot of changes due to last year, because last year we had no idea really what we were getting into, and everybody said that, oh, you're going to need more people, you're going to need more help, you're going to need more money, you're going to need more everything. And my dad was like, I don't know if we can do this. Soon as we got to the track and had our first half a season in, we were like, what are these people talking about? We can do this. So this year we've made some changes, and I think we are more ready than ever.
Biggest thing that you think you improved on at the end of the season last year versus the start, and then also what was the biggest thing that you've changed in the off season going into this year?
The biggest thing I've learned and I have changed is when I am ever in an oh crap moment, you hit that gas. You don't even think about it. You just hit it.
You mentioned that it's habit to come out of the throttle.
See, it was for me because I came from go-karts and mini sprints. And go-karts and mini sprints, you can let off the gas and be okay. But a sprint car, you do not let off that gas.
What happens if you do?
You destroy your car.
Okay.
Exactly what I did.
I guess I'm trying to just understand, like, does it get loose on you? Does it slide over the track?
It just
do you lose
completely
control?
lifts.
Okay.
It feels like you're on ice. Your car feels lighter than ever, and you just have no control. Like, it's just light as a feather, and you just go with it. And what makes your car go is as soon as you hit that gas, your car squats down, and it goes.
Yeah. It gets all that grip and all that air, all that aerodynamic.
It sets your car.
I would imagine it's got to be a lot like, even some of the smoothest tracks will have, the ruts, not so much the ruts, but it'll be wavy in the dirt. And so when you're going across the track, and I kind of understand where Shayle's coming from in the sport mods. You can be on the smoothest track, and when you'll hit the ruts, if you lift, the car momentarily could hit one of those minor ruts. And
then it really starts bouncing.
Yeah, and then you destroy race cars. Whereas if you stay in the throttle on even the littlest of rough, it glides over it, and your car stays in good shape.
Yeah. So that was my biggest change for this year.
Year number 2 again. Do you set expectations, or are you going to continue to learn for year number 2 and wait on expectations for year 3 or 4?
Nope, this is definitely the year of expectations. I'm hoping that this will be my last year in a 305, so I need to take all the learning that I can get this year, because next year I'm hoping to either do a half a year with 305s, but I want to expand and go bigger, because if I have a 5-year time frame to get to NASCAR, I need to move, and I need to keep moving.
Yeah. That's why I was kind of wondering as I was asking that question. Do you have time to not set expectations?
No, it is all about expectations.
Do you feel pressure?
It's all about improving. Not so much now, but once everything starts coming together and racing season's right here, then I'll get a little bit of pressure. But usually I'm pretty great about taking pressure. Like, I work best under pressure. I like to feel it. I like to know that everybody's wanting more out of me, because that gives me to give more. Does it feel awkward to not have that kind of pressure on you? Yes, it sucks. You want the pressure. Like, the pressure is what moves you to make you do even better.
Yeah.
When you're talking about this is the year of expectations, and you're talking about the pressure, normally what I see is there's something farther down the road that's been mentioned to that driver saying, hey, look, these are the expectations we have for you. If you meet these, we're liable to want to take you to the next level. Has that actually happened to you?
I've had... Yes, kind of.
I thought so. That's why you're so much about the year of expectations. I thought so.
Yeah, this is going to be a big year, and this is my year to actually do something for myself, because I'm already 21 years old, and I don't want to be 35 trying to make it to NASCAR just with everybody else. Like, they want you young, they want you marketable, and I think I have a lot to offer for NASCAR.
But have you actually had people outside of the track go, if you make it this year, if you win a championship this year, there's quite a bit of help in the wings waiting for you?
I have a ride set up for the end of the season. I tried getting into it during race season, but I told them I am running for points out at Eagle. I have to be there every Saturday, and they have an asphalt midget. It looks exactly like a NASCAR, but the only thing different is the motor size. And so it's asphalt track. It's exactly where I need to be. And so I'm going to go up to Colorado at the very end of season. We get done September 7th.
That sounds about right.
September 7th. So that following Saturday, I'm going to head up to Colorado and do this race with this team down there.
So there's where something might be breaking big for Shayle Bade.
Yep. And then hopefully they're going into ARCA next year.
Okay.
And I would love to get into ARCA with them.
We get the first ARCA interview, right?
Yes. Oh, it would be so crazy.
So we talked about expectations. You have set them. What are they?
We're definitely shooting for lots of wins this year. We need lots of wins under our belt, and which is going to be really hard this year because we have great drivers. Mike Boston's extremely hard to beat. Mm-hmm. And then I heard there's another guy coming up.
Joey Danley.
Yes, he is good. Came from 360, so he's going to be another hard one to beat. So this year's going to be really hard to win. But if we can take at least 5, I'm going to be blown away.
Okay. Are you guys going to focus on weekly points, or are you going to maybe look at national points also?
Doing both. Yeah.
Doing both. So you could be in Denison almost every Friday night. Friday, Denison, Eagle, Saturday.
Yep. That is more racing I can get in this year, the better. If I can race Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm in. I have 2 cars. I have to be loyal on Saturday. So if I screw one up, I cannot put it back in that show. Mm-hmm. I will be loyal.
Good Lord, Crawford County, you're in for a treat when Shayle comes to town.
I hope so.
I'm excited because that's the only person I know how to pronounce her name in the 305. So I got 1 right now. You said 5. Yeah. 5 wins.
At least.
If you
minimum.
You set the number at 5. If you only reach 4, is it a disappointment on the year?
I wouldn't say I'd be too disappointed. I mean, as long as we tried our best and we performed the best we could, and 4 is all we could get, I'll take 4.
So you're not going to settle?
No. They'll be next year.
I wish the listeners could see your face right now. I've never seen anybody bite their lower lip as hard as you have.
I know. I do. I'm really shooting our bar high this year. We need a great year, and we have definitely the crew behind it. We've eliminated and we've added crew members to where I think this year should be way easy to get 5. 5 should be our minimum amount. Like, there should be no way we should have less than 5 wins.
Are you a superstitious girl?
Yes.
What's your rituals?
I will not have anybody at the track in my pit wearing green. Okay. Nobody will have green. Not even green underwear, green socks. There is no green, even if I can't.
You check their drawers?
Oh, you betcha. No green. And
I can see he's like, well, I'm going to wear some green underwear to bathe
but he's
next
not.
time.
Yeah, no, not in the pit. And then we don't eat chicken on race day.
No chicken on race day.
No chicken on race day. And when we were in Sweet Springs, I kept blowing up motor after motor every time we'd go down there.
You don't go there no more.
No, we do not. I've blown up 29 motors, even 2 a night sometimes. And then we had a 2-day show, put 2 motors in, blew them both up the next night. Oh. So at Sweet Springs, when we were waiting, my pit crew guys went to Tractor Supply and bought a little chick and brought it back to the racetrack, and it was black and yellow, and so that was our mascot. And like it got to be a
chicken.
Huge,
a chicken.
Yeah, a little baby chick is what it started at. And this thing ended as like a rooster, a big, scary rooster. So we gave him to a farm.
Okay. Well, at least
So how long did you carry around the big rooster?
Dude, it went to every race with us. We had a chicken coop and everything, and we actually got them 2 friends. So then by the end of this, we had 3 big chickens. It was crazy.
There was another option you could have done with that thing. I mean, I'm just thinking wings at Quaker Steak and Lube, but I'm just saying.
I'm thinking Weber Grills.
Yeah, we took
end of the season ritual. Yeah, whatever. We won't go any farther than that. How's the merchant? Are you going to get any merchandise in this year to sell in the pits?
Yes, we will have our T-shirts. Our cars just got finished wrapping. Our front design is complete, and then we are just working on the back design, and as soon as we finalize it, they should be here before the icebreaker at Eagle, which is April 18th. They should definitely be before then. I'm hoping they will be here by Denison, which would be nice.
Any chance? I love these, but they're really expensive to have on hand. Any die casts? Like die-cast cars?
Oh, I have thought about getting those. And
I love those things.
Where do you get them? I've wondered where you go get them made. Where?
ADC.com.
And now, how much does it cost to make you one of those
probably.
little guys?
Well, you buy them by so many, but
Bulk.
like $50, $60 a piece.
For a little car for one?
Yeah, probably what do you think, a 24th or a 25th?
About as,
You want to be on the microphone when you're talking?
oh, they're about as big as my pop bottle right there.
About a 1/24th scale. So typically what you would see, like a 64th is like a matchbox. So double that. That's what a diecast
That would be
typically
cool.
is. I think they're really cool.
I
So,
definitely want to get some of those. So maybe if our T-shirt sales and everything go great this year, that'll be our bonus money.
I tell you what, if you get one of those things, sign me up for one. I want
All
one.
right, you're in. You're at top of the list.
30 years from now, I'm going to be going, I got the Shayle
Not
Bade
just-
sprint car.
First one.
Yeah.
That'll be Dan's first girl he's ever talked to. That's why it'll be so special for him.
I talk to you every day.
Yeah. So, anyways, to change directions on you, I've been mentioning your name with this new process, this hydro dipping.
Yes.
Man, you're getting to become like the goddess of hydro dipping.
I'm trying.
Good Lord.
Can you hydro dip some abs on me?
Well, to a point.
Not that belly.
You could do it. Like, you
Yeah.
could hydro dip anything that can get submerged underwater. Like, you can dip wood, plastic, glass. Like, your options are endless.
What made you get into that?
My boss bought a tank for hydro dipping. We had this all set up. And then the guy that was supposed to do hydro dipping got fired. And so he's like, hey, Shayle, you want a hydro dip? And I'm like, yep, I'm in.
I'm in.
I got on YouTube, started Googling it,
Well, I've had a lot of people around here going, Shayle Bade's doing this new hydro dip thing. I was like, dude, have you seen some of the stuff? The valve covers you did were amazing.
And you will
Those
see
were
them at the
gorgeous.
car show.
It is insane. If you haven't seen it, check out, what's your Facebook? It's Shayle Bade 03 Racing?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And you've got videos up there of you hydro dipping. And explain the process to us all so we understand it.
What it is you have your tank of water and you have it heated to whatever your degrees you prefer at. And then you lay your film on water and you have thousands of different kinds of prints that you can choose from. Like, your options are pretty much endless, to carbon fiber, to bubbles, to glass breaking, wood grain, like anything.
Can you design your own?
You can, but it's very expensive. It's $10,000 to do your own custom film.
Wow.
It's because you have to get a semi's length of it. That's the kicker.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
But what hydro dipping is, you lay your film, your pattern on your water, lay it down, wait 60 seconds, and then your buzzer will go off after 60 seconds. You spray your activator, and your activator turns your print into a liquid. And then as soon as it liquefies, you dip whatever object you want to dip. And then you paint your object before you dip it, because the wet paint is what your print sticks onto.
Okay.
Wow.
And it is intricate designs.
Yes, some
It's
of them
almost
get
like
very...
just like with a very fine brush, and all you're doing is just dipping it into water. But it takes a pretty steady hand.
Yes, it does.
I can't believe that.
Yeah, when I watched your video, I was amazed. And I mean, I went up to Beardsford, South Dakota, and I was picking up a sport mod for a guy out at Eagle, and we were in the truck, and I was like, man, did you ever hear about what Shayle Bade was doing? And he goes, yeah, but so many people have been talking to me about it, knowing that you were in the studio tonight, I wanted to ask you about it.
It's a really cool process. And they can check out Shayle Bade 03 Racing Facebook page, which you're moving everybody over there so that you can get your Facebook page going, your fan page going.
Yes.
All right, we got to take a break. You got anything else? Sorry?
No, I'm good.
We can cover anything else you got left in turn 3 and 4. We really don't have much left to talk about this show. I'm just kidding. We got a lot left to talk about. We'll talk Dylan Kwasniewski signing with Chip Ganassi Racing. We'll talk cooling units on pit road already this weekend at Bristol, and so much more. It's all coming up here on the front stretch.
At Quaker Steak and Lube, we're famous for 18 flavors of incredible wings, voted best wings in the USA. But ooh, baby, there's so much more. Ribs, steaks, burgers, specialty drinks, and drafts, all served up on a platter full of fun. Every night is hot at the Lube, and every Tuesday is all-you-can-eat wing night.
Great times, great food. Get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Are you ready for fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping, wheel-to-wheel racing right here in the Metro? Get to Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs and see what it's like to race real go-karts. Joe's Karting knows it's no fun to race go-karts at 10 miles per hour, so they ripped the governors out, and now the only restriction is how good you are at racing. It's full-throttle, white-knuckle racing every day of the week. Head over to joeskarting.com for hours, prices, and specials, or give Buddy a call today and set up your group races at 712-256-5278.
Time to grab another tear-off and make your move. We're headed into turn 3 on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting.
Time for turn number 3 here on the front stretch. What is today? The 16th, so we're 2 weeks, about 3 weeks away from your car show at Mid-America Motorplex.
Yeah.
And we are 2 races today and next weekend away from whoever is leading in the points in the Pick'ems contest, winning themselves a prize pack to the Mid-America Motorplex for the Fire and Thunder exhibition show.
Oh, that's going to be exciting. I tell you, that car show, that's coming along a lot better. Some people, I would be honest, some people are going to say it might be a lower turnout. I don't really care for the first year, because the first year, just like racing, and Shayle may understand, the first year you just go out and do what you can do. A lot of times in the first year, you always wing it. We just talked about...
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, I mean, you just fake it till you make it, but we do the car show, and then, in 2015, we'll know what to improve on, but... just the other day, I had the 402 Truck Club, four-wheel drive truck club, and if you've ever seen a pickup club, it's usually not ratty-tatty vehicles. They're usually pretty nice trucks, and they've decided to come on board. We've got a Midwest Corvette club that's thinking about coming on board. We've got about 7 or 8 race cars. We've got a semi. We got our first ugly duckling. And it's actually not your Ranger, Dan. I was kind of shocked. We got an ugly duckling, which is the ugliest vehicle. We have a class just for that. The only rule is, you cannot trailer it, push it, or tow it in. It's got to be driven in, and I need to see a picture of it before you enter it. There's no entry fee. It's free to show off cars. If you got a race car, bring your race car. Now you can show off your car, and you can show off your toter as a semi. So it's a 2-for-1. It's free to come on down. I think Lois Hills Harley Davidson.
Lois Hills, Harley Davidson. They're going to be there. We're going to have a bunch of motorcycles. If we can get about 100 vehicles this year, I'm going to be pretty ecstatic. And that is again April 5th?
April 6th. On a Sunday from noon to 4. Pit gates open at 9. Pit meeting at 11:30. Car shows noon to 4.
I should be able to make it to that. Again, I'll be at Denison the night before, but yep. I'll get my happy little butt out of
yeah, it's 1 week after the World Wheels.
Yeah, okay. So, and then you've got a Facebook page going on for it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's real easy. 2014 Holiday Horsepower Drive Car Show. I didn't know how much plainer to make it, so.
Apparently there's not a character restriction on titling a fan page.
No.
Check it out. It's coming up in just a couple of weeks, and it benefits the Holiday Horsepower Drive, and it's just a good old fun time. So that goes on April 6th at the Mid-America Motorplex.
Oh, you know
just
what?
Down the road from
you know what else
Plus.
they're doing? That day, same time frame, they're having a professional car drifting event there. So So anybody who wants to show up at the car show, it's free to get into the car show. If you want to go watch the car drifting event and go into that part of the drag strip, there's an admission fee. So now you can come into the car show, and when I was talking to Jim Howe, you can walk right up to the track, and you're like 20 feet from the cars coming by doing 80 mile an hour drifting.
Wow. That'll be pretty insane.
Yeah.
We got to get Jim back on the show.
There's going to be food. There's going to be concessions, all that. I mean, it's going to be one hell of a time.
I want to talk about some of the news and notes that's going on in NASCAR. The biggest news this week, you saw it already for Bristol qualifying, but NASCAR allowed cooling units on pit road. Are you familiar with this, bud?
Yeah, they're wanting to let the cars the cool down, and I understand why. I'm actually in favor of this. When the drivers were saying at Phoenix, during the knockout qualifying, when you got the slower cars down there trying to cool off, and you got somebody coming up the rear end and doing 180 mile an hour, that's not a good thing. And
it was going to get ugly at Bristol that doesn't have a lot of room.
No.
There's nowhere to go on that track.
So I absolutely approve and applaud this move on NASCAR for safety reasons.
I think I would have preferred them to say no tape. No cooling units, no tape, no cool down laps, period. Because I am not a fan of qualifying trim and race trim. Because what is the point of qualifying if you're basically going to steroid up your car? It
Right.
doesn't say anything. All it means, if you get the pole, is that you were able to inject more steroids into your car than the next guy. And then when it comes out to green flag, you're in race trim and you may not have the best car, so backwards you go. I would have preferred NASCAR just pull no tape on those nose, because the way they were doing it for the first 3 races was tape that baby up completely, go out there and make 3 laps, come into the pits, pull the tape off, go and make a couple of laps really slowly, cool the engine down, tape the baby back up, head back out again, run 3 quick laps, pull the tape off. And that's where the issue was coming. I would have preferred that NASCAR said, no more tape, no more cool laps.
I really like this knockout qualifying that I've gotten used to. I do like it a lot, but I think they could have done a little bit more too. You're talking about they come in, they come in off 3 laps, they take some tape off, go out there, slow it down, come back in, tape it back up, go back out for 3 more laps. Mm-hmm. In 3 laps, make them run a set number of laps.
Well, the problem is
that's it.
But if you tape it up, they can only run 3 laps, because that's when the engine starts really overheating.
You take the tape off.
I don't want to
let them qualify the car that they're going to race.
Yeah, exactly.
To me, Shayle, you go out to Eagle. There's no difference between your heat race and the feature in the car that you got. Other maybe you might add some stagger to a tire, you might change a shock, but you don't.
That's it.
That's it. If NASCAR could go back to this, qualify with the car you're going to run, I think that would be really exciting to watch. Because like you said, you could qualify with a great car and go straight to the back. Well, nobody wants to watch that.
Dylan Kwasniewski, a up-and-coming driver in the ARCA Series, ran a couple of truck races last year, running his first nationwide, full nationwide series this year, has signed a deal with Chip Ganassi Racing with Felix Sabates. First it's Kyle Larson, now it's Dylan Kwasniewski. These are 2 of the younger phenoms. Am I going to be completely wrong on CGR Racing at Earnhardt? I've been incredibly critical of their ability to really do much of anything in the Cup Series, but they have got one of 2 elements locked down. They have got young potential talent, and I'm talking. And these are some of the more highly touted drivers. So they've got good core to start with. They've basically got their quarterback, their franchise driver. Now they can start building a team around him. Are we going to see Felix Sabates and Chip Ganassi Racing up there in the next couple of years?
I would say the next couple of years. I don't think they're that far off now from the pace, but when they're injecting youth with some professionalism in there, in the next 2 or 3 years, I'm not going to say they're a Hendricks, but I think they will be a contender to win races week in and week out.
The only thing I think they're missing is the old vet. A lot of teams have this, the old vet that can talk to those young drivers and explain them things. Stewart-Haas went out and hired Mark Martin as a test driver and as a driver's driver.
Great move.
Exactly, a fantastic move. Another great benefit for Danica Patrick sitting there. She's got 3 of the top drivers in the league in the series today, and Mark Martin to go to for questions and advice. I don't see Jamie McMurray being that old man. Am I wrong? Do you guys see Jamie McMurray being that old, wise?
No.
I'm sorry. I like Jamie.
Not at this point.
Yeah,
no.
Maybe. I don't see. I see. There's somebody else they could go and get, but that's hopeful. And how cool would that be if you were able to land one of those deals?
It'd be awesome.
A driver development deal.
Can I make it a NASCAR news announcement?
Sure, go ahead.
Hudson Hall, long time caller, been a great friend of the front stretch. We've seen him the last 2-3 years down at Kansas. Has joined Rising Star Management Group as the public relations manager for Michael Annett and Pilot Flying J Racing, which pilots the number 7 Chevy SS in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Wow.
Is that why he's been so hard to get hold of lately?
Yes.
He knew 2 things. We would make him say Parker Kligerman, and that we would get it out of him what was going on with him. That's the reason why he didn't come on.
Oh, yeah. Kudos. This is something that he's been striving for. So I wanted to make a shout out to Hudson. That a boy.
Well, congratulations. Good for him. He got himself a nice little promotion there. So we'll have to talk to him in the next couple of weeks.
Maybe we can get an interview with Michael Annett.
Hey, maybe that'll happen.
Yeah, there you go. We got Shayle Bade.
We got Shayle Bade now. We don't need Michael Annett.
Yeah,
we'll take Michael Annett.
Who the hell needs Jeff Gordon? We got Shayle Bade.
Oh, that's funny.
We got Turn 4 coming up just around the corner. Pick'ems contest, and we'll preview Bristol Motor Speedway. We'll be right back.
We have all been there before. Broken car part in your hand and some snot-nosed punk behind the counter has no idea what he is talking about, but he guarantees that this part will fix your car. You pay an arm and a leg for the replacement, get it home, and sure enough, it doesn't fit your car. Now, learn from your mistake and give an experienced salesperson at Kosiski Auto Parts a call today at 402-731-4592. Kosiski Auto Parts will get you back on the road with your arms and legs still attached.
Are you ready for fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping, wheel-to-wheel racing right here in the Metro? Get to Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs and see what it's like to race real go-karts. Joe's Karting knows it's no fun to race go-karts at 10 miles per hour, so they ripped the governors out, and now the only restriction is how good you are at racing. It's full-throttle, white-knuckle racing every day of the week. Head over to joeskarting.com for hours, prices, and specials, or give Buddy a call today and set up your group races at 712-256-5278.
Get ready for the victory lap as we make our way into Turn 4 on the front stretch. Presented by Joe's Karting. Online at joeskarting.com.
Wrapping her up, heading into Turn 4. You want to go high or low?
I'm going to go high. I like to ride the high line.
He likes the high line. All right, going high into turn number 4. Here we come. It's the front stretch.
Buddy Ray,
yep, into the wall already.
He
turn
lifted.
4. We're talking Pick'em's contest results from. Do you want to just go ahead and check out right now, or?
Yeah,
you want to walk out of the room? Pick'em's contest, your top 5 in the point standings. Mike Carlson and Monty Oman, both 130 points. They have 2 races coming to them for being in the lead this week. Sonia Worth has 126, Jesse Totten 114, and Carrie Hancock and David Ackerson are both, Carrie Hancock in 5th with 111.
How many people overall do we have in it so far?
21, not counting you.
21. I want to take this moment real quick. Everybody, listen close. If you want to play in the Pick'em's contest, by all means, me and Dan want you to play along with us. But if you want your free races at Joe's, email us at frontstretch590@gmail.com. We will send you an online registration link. You've got to be registered at Joe's. It's not like you can just walk in off the street. I mean, you got to have an account at Joe's. It doesn't cost nothing to register. Just register at Joe's. So, come Wednesday when you make the official results, because, Tuesdays is the penalty day. On Wednesdays when we make those results official, I can then put the races on your account. I've come into contact with a couple of people that have been playing along going, I haven't got my races. Well, you got to, register at Joe's. You got to have an account. It's not a gift certificate.
It's not anything you get mailed to you. It's just simply that we have your name on a sheet and Buddy credits your account. But if Mike Carlson and Monty Oman don't have accounts, nothing can get credited. Now, you're still going to get it.
Oh, yeah. But
Buddy's just asking you, let's not rely on my memory to get it whenever you walk in.
I've got the memory of a 90-year-old man.
We both do. It's ridiculous. So if you're part of the contest, you can go ahead and email us. I sent out a link earlier in the page. And by the way, we're walking into Bristol. The chances of you winning the championship are getting slim, but you could still join. Frontstretch590@gmail.com. It's fun, it's free, and all you can do is win.
Hey, and you know what? I'm living proof. I've been here for the last 3 weeks playing along, and I've got people who have only played the last 2 weeks that are like killing me.
Buddy has 22 points. He's in last.
After 3 weeks.
He's in last. And Gary Thompson has picked 1 of 3 weeks and is beating you.
Yeah. Go figure.
You took the 14 last week, finished 33rd, only got himself 11 points. Rough day for you. So far, you have picked Stewart-Haas Racing twice between Kurt Busch and Tony Stewart, and then Kyle Larson at Daytona. But I will tell you, you're on the move. You're going forward. Your points you received for Las Vegas doubled the amount of points you had. You had 11. You got 11, so you have 22.
And the fact that 4 people didn't get their picks in helped me. So
it helped you. Well, it helped you with Gary, but Donald Crouch still has 19 points on you. So, which is one race.
I make fun of the fact that I'm not doing very good right now. It's just part of my master plan. I might as well get all the toe picks out now, and so later in the season when I can fire up my Jimmy Johnsons, my Jeff Gordons.
Yeah, who wants Kurt Busch and Tony Stewart at the end of the season? They're no good.
But what's more irritating is not the fact that I'm as bad as I am right now. It's the fact that it's the following week the driver that I picked the week before does good. I'm like, really? Seriously?
Larson still hasn't really done that good, though. But we'll get to that. Bristol picks. Here's the tip of the day I'll give you guys. We're going into Bristol. This is a place where you've got to have good equipment. A good driver only goes so far, but if you've got inferior brakes, inferior brake system, ductwork, cooling, it's going to be a bad day. I would highly recommend you stay away from lower echelon teams. Stick with those for others for the super speedways, but for a small track like this, you got to stay away from the underfunded teams, and you better make sure and stay out of. Don't pick somebody that's qualified outside of the top 15. Obviously, we record on Wednesday night. We don't know the qualifying records yet, but if you know them, since you know them this morning, go ahead and send in your picks. But stay away from those guys that are outside the top 15, because out of the last 10 races, nobody outside of the top 15 in qualifying has won the race. So that's a little bit of a tip for you. Speaking about winning, 2011 it was Kyle Busch, 2012 it was Brad Keselowski, and last year it was Casey Kane that got your win. Top 10 in driver ratings: Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth, Jeff Gordon, Brad Keselowski, Greg Biffle, Kurt Busch, Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, and Dale Jr. Those are your top 10 in the standings as far as driver ratings between finishes from 2005 to 2013. 18 total races at Bristol Motor Speedway.
I'm taking Boyer.
Why don't you just wait? Obviously, no, listen, I'm not making fun of you. Here's the thing. I just said it. We recorded on Wednesday night. What do you know right now? Diddly. They haven't even loaded the cars yet. You don't know how they practiced. You don't know how practice 2 went. You don't know how qualifying went. You don't know how practice 3 went. Just wait. Send it to me on Sunday. Like I said, you could take Boyer and he can have a bad qualifying and he's qualified 23rd. Your day's done because he could get caught up in an accident. And it is difficult to win a race at Bristol simply because...
I want to take several of the top 10, but the problem is I don't want to burn up those picks this early in the season.
Just wait. Let's wait until you actually see the qualifying. I'll send it out I'll send it out as soon as the show's done. See, now I'm bouncing back and forth. But Sunday morning, the full stat sheets will go out. You'll be able to see exactly where everything's at.
And everybody else, make sure you email the frontstretch590gmail.com.
And don't worry, what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start sending out who's picking who. And I will let everybody know who Buddy picks. So that way you can stay away from them.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to get my picks on the morning.
Frontstretch590@gmail.com. Thank you so much to Shayle Bade for joining us. Best of luck this season. We're going to talk to you a lot more as the season goes on. We want to make sure and keep updated with you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
We'll be back next weekend. The gas man, Jack Dover, will join us. We're going to try to get Hudson Hall now
with Rising Star Management Group as a public PR manager for Michael Annett and the pilot Flying J Racing #7 Chevrolet SS. Say that drunk 3 times fast.
Green flag T-minus 3 hours from today. It's at noon. All the action on the big screens at Quaker Steak and Lube in Council Bluffs. Online at QuakerSteakandLubeCB.com. I can't say for sure yet. My Sunday's up in the air. It depends on what I'm doing this afternoon. But I'm going to try to.
Shrimp and a loop too.
We'll be back next weekend to do it all again. Thanks for joining us.
This week's Young Gun is Bradley Blackburn Jr. out of Goshen, Indiana. Bradley races at Mottsville Speedway, M40 Speedway, and New Paris Speedway, all in Indiana. At 15, Bradley has been a hobby stock sportsman racer for the last 3 years and has already claimed 15 feature wins and 2 track championships, both at Mottsville Speedway. Bradley has designed his paint scheme to honor kids with cancer and help raise money to keep fighting this horrible disease. Bradley also works with the Relay of Life in the Goshen area to help raise money and cancer awareness. Find Bradley on Facebook at Bradley Blackburn Jr. and show your support. The Front Stretch is proud to name this week's Young Gun Bradley Blackburn Jr. If you have a young racer that you'd like featured in the Young Guns, email a complete bio to frontstretch590@gmail.com and your driver could be chosen as a Young Gun.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Quaker Steak and Lube has been voted festival favorite once again at the National Buffalo Wing Festival. Visit Quaker Steak and Lube for our Best Wings USA, sauced your way.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
For 50 years, Eagle Raceway has been pushing the limits of dirt track racing. Saturday nights, come see the Midwest's best battle at the fastest third-mile track. Gates open at 5:30 for IMCA Modifieds, Sport Compacts, Hobby Stocks, Sport Mods, and Race Saver Sprint Cars. Eagle kicks their season off on April 19th with the Icebreaker Challenge, featuring the debut of the Race Saver Sprint Cars. Located just 10 minutes east of Lincoln on Highway 34 and online at eagleraceway.com.